So we are currently in the middle of the first round series between the Houston Rockets and the OKC Thunder. The Thunder have now tied the series at 2 apiece, after what people, including me, were about to call a sweep or a 5-game series without Russell Westbrook even on the floor. We are now at the point where we are now, and part of it is due to the Thunder just adjusting to the Rockets' playstyle, because it is worth noting that OKC didn't play against the Rockets in the regular season after they went small. So we really should have expected they would take that time to adjust. But one thing that people probably weren't expecting is the defense that Luguentz Dort is currently playing on James Harden. And just watching him, I honestly think that he's already figured him out. Well, he's figured out how to slow him down. A lot. And so today we're going to be talking about his defense, what makes him so effective against James Harden, and what this could mean for this series going forward. But before we begin, if you're new here, I'm DoubleD. I'm a huge basketball fan and I make NBA videos here on YouTube. So if you're also an NBA fan, or just a basketball fan in general, feel free to hit the sub button, and click the bell to be notified when I upload more videos just like this one. Also, before we begin, do you see this? This number right here. I started doing this 5 months ago, and we're already here. We are already part of the 5-digit club. So, I just wanted to take this time here to thank all of you guys. I mean, you guys have really changed my life, and I am so grateful that I can now call this my job. And I really have nothing else to say except next stop 100k, I guess. Never thought I'd be saying that so soon, but here we are. Alright, let's get into the video. So the thing that really catches your eye when you look at the statistics is the fact that James Harden in games 1 through 3 shot 8 for 34 overall when guarded by Luguentz Dort, and he shot 6 for 25 from 3. That is 23.5% overall and 24% from 3. And even if he's not forcing him into misses, he's still doing a really good job of both denying him the ball and getting the ball out of his hands. And so, how is this even happening? With all the great defenders Harden has seen throughout his career, how is a 21-year-old undrafted rookie doing a better job at shutting him down? Well, and just to be clear, don't take this tweet too seriously. But part of it is his size. I mean, Luguentz Dort is around 6'5", which is around the same size as Harden. He moves his feet amazingly well, and he does a great job of staying in front of him. But he also has probably one of the highest defensive IQs that I have ever seen from anyone defending him. And we can see that here. So we can see that Harden immediately calls for a screen because that would be a mismatch. But Dort does a really good job of going under, so he can get right back onto Harden. And this is also something that OKC has been doing a lot, which is hedging while the other defender works to get back onto him. And so we can see that Harden now has Dort back onto him, and Grant is already rotating back towards Eric Gordon, and so he probably wouldn't be able to make the pass, and so he just decides to take Dort one-on-one. And he gets a really good contest on the shot. Now, this is interesting because I don't think I've ever seen anyone swipe like this at the ball while Harden is shooting, but maybe that's enough to bother him or distract him or something. But it could also just be the fact that he's jumping to his left side, which, as Kevon Looney proved, can also disrupt his step back.
Looney out on Harden. Step side. Harden step back three. Way short. Corner off. Harden, step back three.
So here's same thing. Harden calls a pick and roll with PJ Tucker to get Dort switched off, but we can see the same thing I was talking about earlier. Gallinari stays in front of Harden and lets Dort recover before he switches. And so again, Harden decides to take him one-on-one, but this time he drives in to try to get a foul here by dropping his shoulder. Dort stands his ground and keeps his hands up so the refs won't feel the need to make that call, and he ends up forcing the ball out of Harden's hands. This next play, exact same thing. It seems like this is their way of defending pick and rolls, and hey, it's working. So this time it's Grant that steps in and hedges before Dort recovers, and he once again decides to take him one-on-one. And so, oh no. See, this is the problem that I have. To me, the #1 rule of guarding James Harden is you never, under any circumstances, reach in. Because 9 times out of 10, that's a foul. and it will frustrate you and get into your head. But other than that, he again does a really good job of staying in front of him, and notice how as soon as Harden even starts to make a move at the rim, he immediately puts his hands up. That is really great IQ from him. And Harden ends up going nowhere, and again he gives it up. Now this play right here, this is literally textbook. Harden in transition is probably one of the toughest players to guard. And so Dort immediately picks him up because sometimes Harden will actually pull from here. And so as soon as Harden sees Dort getting a little too close, he immediately makes a move and starts driving to the rim. And here's where things get wild. So Harden on these types of plays is very good at getting you on his side and then lowering his shoulder into you as he's going up to draw contact. I mean, we see him do this all the time. And so Dort immediately backs off of Harden to prevent that contact from happening, and he lets him get by, but still stays right behind him. And so Harden, thinking that he just got by him, goes up where he's met by Luguentz Dort, who was right with him the whole time. Like, I don't get it. He's 21 years old. He's an undrafted rookie. How has he already figured him out better than almost anyone? Here we just see pretty good one-on-one defense. Once again, there's nothing really to break down here, other than the fact that we again see this weird swipe from him. I'm not even sure if he intends to get the ball. I think it may just be a way to distract him during the shot. Now, these next two plays, there's nothing to break down. I mean, just look at this one-on-one defense by Dort.
Look at that ability to stay in front by Dort. Duress of the shot clock again. Can Gordon put one home? No.
Missing once again, and the Thunder get a stop.
No turnovers by the Thunder, scoring off the bench.
Harden spins into Dort. Great defense by the rookie out of Arizona State.
You see what I'm saying about he doesn't need help.
So in Game 4, we saw a little bit of adjustment from Houston, like here. In Game 3, this would have been a situation where Gallinari would stay in front until Dort recovered, but instead, Harden quickly sends a pass behind his back to Robert Covington, since he already knows what's coming, which forces Dort back onto him. But he completely shuts down this attempt at a drive and forces him into a travel. Now, this play is partly due to just bad offense by Robert Covington, because he comes and sets the screen, but he moves out of the way just before Dort gets to him, and then he sets the screen too low. And so, I mean, what is James supposed to do with this? But Dort still does a really good job of contesting Harden on the step back, and he does that swipe again, and he forces Harden to get rid of it. Now, this play is actually really good defensive IQ from Chris Paul. So Dort is on Harden and he can see PJ Tucker coming to set a screen, but he slips the screen and fades into the corner, and so that gives Harden his split second to start driving, but that's when Chris Paul steps in and gets in front of him to trap him, and they end up getting the steal. And I mean, Chris Paul is just so smart, man. Before anything even happened, we can see him already start to make his move here. He already knows what's coming. Turnover. Now, the beauty of Houston's microball experiment against OKC is the fact that PJ Tucker is matched up against Steven Adams. And so Adams has to stay off the three-point line or else he's just gonna get blown by every time. And so there's nobody to stay on Harden while Dort recovers, and so he just decides to try to get the contest anyway, which forces Tucker to move his feet to stay in front of him, and it's an illegal screen. Now, you could make the argument that this is a foul on Dort, but it is also a flop by PJ Tucker. Now, this last play is this is literally perfect defense. So Covington sets a pick for Harden, but this time Gallinari is back on him, so you can see they're already preparing for that same sort of, hedge and recover. But this time, Dort goes over the screen and stays with Harden, hands up of course, and Harden gets absolutely nowhere. So Covington tries to set the screen again, and this time Dort goes under and Gallinari hedges, and Dort immediately gets back onto him. I mean, look at this frame. What are you even meant to do if you're James Harden? Because this pass would likely get picked off by either Gallinari or Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and so that's a pass to Daniel House. This guy is... what? How is he doing this? How is he already so perfect at defending James Harden? I obviously don't have an answer for this, but I will say that if Harden can't find a counter to him, with Westbrook being out for Game 5 as well, Houston is going to have a problem. I'm sorry, I had to say it. But with all that being said, what do you think about Luguentz Dort's defense on Harden? And do you think he can slow him down long enough for OKC to have an edge in the series? Let me know what you think. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to be notified when I upload, comment down below what you want to see next, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.